Hello, my dear Mallory. Today we are getting into this freaking bloodline reading, which actually happens to be like the degrees reading in a way that I was supposed to do for you, and then we ended up redoing. Either way, I got to make a presentation. So I just wanted to put my introduction on to see my face because my face isn't going to be here the whole time, but I will be chatting your ear off because this was dope. I really had a great time with this and tracing your family line and seeing where you came from. Because, baby, you should like go buy a crown because this is royal shit. So let me get you flipped around to the other screen so we can get this popping. And ah, I can just focus more when you can't see my face. It's just something about being a human that makes you worry about what you look like. So let's get this show on the road, Mallory. So I went with your first name because that's where we're going to get all the info to follow down. Uh, Mallory in itself, I found very interesting because it means army counselor. Like, what are the fucking odds? At the end of this reading, I'm going to go back to your birth chart and sort of round everything else so you can see how your family bloodline showed up in your star ancestry because this is just freaking cool. But when I went to look up your name and the meaning of it, because words, everything means something here. Your name is not randomly chosen. Army counselor. And that's for German, but in Hebrew, it means messenger. I looked into your gematria, which is the vibrational frequency of your name. For you, there is something really important about your dreams and the symbolism that you see in them that needs to be written down. They could also be sort of prophetic. There's something about your dreams that you were meant to be able to tell other people, especially starting with your partner, because there's something about your partnership that I noticed that is extremely important about what you're doing. Also, it is hilarious to note that you used to be a part of the band of Spartacus. Check into that. And I just found that amazing. I can't wait to have a conversation about that part. But also that there are some cherubim. You were at one point that you got to spend some time as a cherub. When you are ever in need or have a spiritual crisis or anything, the angel that you need to refer to is Angel Gabriel, because that is in your gematria, what you are have a match with. Now, this life path 3 for you, this means you're creative, witty, independent, you have ideas, but it is important because you have so much of this joie de vivre that you find a way to focus it. Because if you don't focus and you get bored, you will not accomplish your mission. That is really the difficulty of the path 3, not getting bored with so much energy and so much ability to create and just be on the go, go, go. So now that we have you down and the essence of you and your sort of vibration, we're going to go into the family line that you have reincarnated through over time and just who it adds up to you being. Disappearing. So you like I'll put the pictures in there. I was really excited about that, especially because your family gave me so much to work with. So let me grab my little note paper because I took so many notes. Um, this family, the Lord side, which is actually the side that had less information, really had so much information. The advantage that you have is that your family came from British nobility. I cannot find any people of color. I don't know if that's not a shock to you, but your family line stayed so close that maybe there's even some inbreeding going on. And I know if you're familiar with royal families, you understand how that goes. But in order to keep the titles in there, a lot of these people just kept sleeping together. And if you wanted to check further into this, I found this book for you, The Genealogy. But what I actually discovered is the first person that came to America from your family was Richard Lord, came to Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1632. There was no more movement from that because most of the people stayed in the UK. There were some people that went to Canada in 1690, Boston 1635, and New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut in 1718, which is probably where this book over here comes from. But in 1890, it was still noted that most were found in the UK, but they had a small asterisk that in 1840, 300 families were in Maine. We also discovered a lot of your family in Canada and Scotland, and that after they left the UK, they moved to Ireland, which is really important because eventually this got them into World War I, which is where your chart has you last listed for the incarnation that is most important to this one. You passed away at some point during World War II. After that, during your family's time, you had I don't know if you want to call him uncle, cousin, whatever, named Walter Lord, created a novel based on the Titanic that actually did really well. And he's very known by, I guess, writers because of this interpretation of the Titanic. I could not find out if he just interviewed people because I did see he did a lot of interviews, but I don't know if he was actually on it himself. But then again, did everybody die on the Titanic? I guess that would matter. So this is over here is the symbol for the Lord family, the crest that would be on their doors and all that sort of stuff. So it'd be very interesting if you ever get to go to any of the places that your family came from, especially the Crow side of the family, because baby, that's where we're about to really get into it. So this Crow side of the family developed a little bit slower because their royalty really slapped way harder for them. This is the Crow sign up here. I hope that's not showing that I just did that. This is the crest up here. Let me grab my notes again because I had way more notes on this one. And honestly, to keep it 100 with you, you'll see on the last slide, but both families came together or came from the same root. Just the incest was heavy here. So in 1840, there were only 7 Crows in America as opposed to the 300 lords that were here. That is because they found safety in this place called the Kingdom of Thormund. This is a place that they had just been rolling over and over again since they came from this Dalcassian tribe, which is belonging to a group of Irish people that are known as the Irish Group 3. This is a genetic separation of the different, I guess, Caucasian or Germanic, Celtic races, the genotypes, the blueprints. You're part of Irish Group 3 because of this in your bloodline. These people connect to the Indo-Europeans, the first Europeans that were here that came from above into those mountains. But this is before the Norman King. So this is like way, way back. I actually clocked your family back with Gaelic roots to September of 450 AD. And this is a tribe, if you ever want to look into it, the Dalcassians is a tribe of these people, I guess, sort of like Vikings, which probably chances are you were a part of that too, because there's a lot of warrior stuff in there that maybe that's where you just keep coming back every time there's a war. Now, I did notice that some of your family members went to other places before they came to the United States. Like that was not a priority. I found a dude named John Crow that came to Charleston, Virginia in 1630. And then there was another one that came to Maryland in 1635. The first people to enter Australia, which was during the 1630s, were John and Elizabeth Crow, who were convicts that moved to Australia. And then there are some people, Edward, who came to New Zealand in the 1820s. They really preferred to go southern or to stay in places that were not the United States, but I'm pretty sure we can understand why. But also, that's where I'm going to lead this story next as we hit this last slide. So the Celtic, I keep saying, I'm not even sure what that is, roots, belong to the Kings of Munster. And this is for both lines. They came together like hardcore. The Kings of Munster, the people who own this area here, because they stem from a relationship with this, I'm going to mess this word up, Iganachata dynasty, which is this group of people over here, these kings who sort of took over this whole area because of that Germanic DNA and their connection they had to this goddess right here. Ain, I guess is the name, the goddess summer. This is an Irish goddess that has to do with fairies. That gives you some fairy lineage, which I find very interesting because now the readings are going to the point where I'm able to connect them to things that we thought were mythological. These kings were gifted their powers, their nobility from these goddesses and this group of people that I'm about to show you. But one of them raped her, which is a horrible story to have to tell you, which changed the bloodline. But it sort of kind of worked out because, I mean, I see you all the time and your life is lit. So what I'm going to show you now, I'm typing in Yahoo, is the group of people that were sort of in charge of Irish mythology, in charge of your family line. And I believe that that's who they were working with to keep, I guess, themselves royal for a while. This is the group, because I have a hard time pronouncing these things because like the lack of Irish maybe. So you can trace your stuff all the way back to these Tuatha the Danann. Can I get that? Can I say how to say? I love that I can just Tua de Dunan, a tribe of Danu. Danu is a specific goddess that these people worship. Let me show you the pictures because this is fun. I'm having like a conversation with you about it. So this is sort of like the way when you see like Egyptian deities and all that stuff and all those pantheons. Your pantheon of people come from here. These Irish sort of Celtic-y people that made your family line royal. And although it's sort of shrouded in the mystery of mythology, it seems very, I feel very safe in saying that there's an intermingling here. So something for you to look at because they made it in freaking DC Comics, right? Amazing stuff. So your chart, let's get to it. How does this connect? Boom, this South Node is right here in Aries. You come from being a warrior. And we've discussed this before, but it's also important to mention that over here in your 12th house, which is the house of all things left over from the last life, expansion, travel, where the South Node is right now. Have you been traveling lately, Mallory? Because you receive the most expansion in your life when you travel. There's something about the knowledge that you have. Is there something you want to heal with people overseas? Is there's a skill set you have that would benefit these people because you have a Capricorn here in the first, which means there's definitely a business you're meant to have, but it's karmic for you. And you're actually learning about what that is now because of this South Node coming up here. It's going to go backwards and through this energy. So you're in the last year of you learning about what your cause is that causes you to move away from at least 2 hours or more from where you came from. I think I recently saw you move. Have you been sparked yet? I would imagine so because Pluto is over here now working on the way that you're earning your money and the radical change that you have to make. So let me know if you've been inspired because you're meant to be learning or speaking or writing or thinking or teaching on a day-to-day basis. You've already been the warrior. In this life, you have to let go of being the warrior or dealing with the difficulties home and finding your way into peace and being known for your relationship, but also what you uncover during your research. Because, yeah, ma'am, you came to make a difference. You only come here when it's time to fight. And I think it's probably important that I mention that with the state of the world now. So, ma'am, what is your cause? What is on your heart? If you could take away a second, all the logic and that sort of stuff, what do you feel like you came here for? Sit with yourself for a second and ask that question. Let me know what happens. Thank you for your patience once again, Mallory.